Oh no. Oh, there we go.
It's cool. I like the changing ears, ear colors.
Thanks.
Hello.
I usually don't
Hey,
wear
Scout.
these on game night.
Hello.
Anybody playing Zelda?
Actually,
Don't have
no,
a
not yet.
Switch.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's so good.
I spent way
I've-
too much money recently, so yeah. Give me a pass for
I've
this
been
month.
watching other people play, but I do not have the Switch.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a dream game for those with ADHD. It is literally impossible to stay on task for more than like 5 minutes in that game. There's like, I think there's at least like 15 different like collectible things, like types of things you need to get hearts and stamina and money and outfits and it's like, oh my god, I can't stop.
And going from Breath of the Wild's magnet to all the crap that you can do and build with the new telekinesis arm, and the way that you attach them to build rafts and bridges, and yeah, it
I haven't
watching
even been building much yet.
watching people do stuff is just like I have yet to have actually seen much of the story because I just keep watching people do walking around trying out
Yeah.
all this random crap, and then suddenly some random thing ends up activating one of the collectibles, and it's like, so that was there.
Yeah, I've barely started one of like the kingdoms quests. Like I've started Gerudo. Surprisingly, not just for the outfit. It just happened to be that I went there. But no, it's super fun. Some of my only complaint is some of the controls are garbage. Like the fact that there is a different button to go fast in the water than to go fast on the land than to go fast in the air. And that's just bad control making.
Mm-hmm.
And like
That sounds
a
really
lot of the
annoying.
UI like back buttons are different depending on what you're doing. So I've definitely like used valuable items while trying to just go back in the menu and but other than control and UI problems, masterpiece. I think I haven't really played much of it, the actual game, mostly just running around.
Wait, hold up. That's weird. It's not trying to get into what you sent there, but I can't seem to access it. Weird.
Now recording.
Ooh, that is very nice.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Just saw the update there. Let me just deal with the light for a sec.
Well, I think that's 4 of us here. We're not officially playing a game, so I don't really know how to start. I did have some notes together. I've been having a shitty time with productivity and time management, sleep, and all the other things. I'd meant to gather some more stuff than I actually do have prepared. But the first note I had here was how much money did Tegan find, and then the note I have for myself was look that up, and I did not do that. Tegan, did you ever re-listen to the last episode to see how much money you found?
Not yet. That's one of 4 things I have on my notes to listen to before we next actually play. Because there's a couple of things I want to re-listen to before I try to have conversations in
Right.
character with people.
I could probably look that up real quick while we're here. And then my second note there was probably to have you roll to add on top of whatever arbitrary number I just said that you had. One of the notes further down on here is, do we somehow want to retcon or hand wave or so that I don't kill the dog? Because I really don't want to have killed the dog.
I mean, you don't have to.
I mean, it happened if somebody had some sort of resource, even if it didn't necessarily like work that way mechanically, to like do something about it. We could say you did something about it. I don't want to necessarily just hand wave and be like, oh no, that didn't happen. But if y'all can't come up with anything y'all did to mitigate that, I could just say Manu was good enough to be like, Lancelot, just kind of stay out of range of us, and Lancelot would have already been there.
The main thing about hand waving it is that all it really does is saves us from having to go all the way back to the abbot.
Mm-hmm. For one more revivify.
Or saves you the heartache of just having lost a dog and not done anything about it. The second.
I mean, I did do something about it. I wrapped him up in a little, like, ceremonial, like, funeral wrap.
I'm pretty fine either way.
I know Manu was probably the most attached. He was definitely the most attached to Manu.
Yeah, Eddie is more about hog than dog.
I mean,
honestly, I don't know what Manu's spell slot situation was like at the end of the battle, but I mean, if you wanted to hand wave that it actually still does act as our third and final thing from the abbot, and it just happens to actually have been like a scroll of gentle repose plus a scroll of revivify or something like that.
I don't necessarily want to take one of your 3 you know,
The third of our favors.
yeah, I don't necessarily want to like say we're gonna burn that on that, but do it out of game so we don't have to take time backtracking. I'd rather, yeah, like I feel like y'all still do deserve to have that third option, and not necessarily spend it on this. Yeah, mostly I don't want to go down on doesthedogdie.com or but yeah, what happened, and yeah, if anybody has an idea of something they could have done, or even mechanically if it didn't necessarily work that way, I'll allow it.
I mean, the closest I could think is maybe using one of our healing things, but at that point, the Lancelot was already dead, not just down. So,
well, the main thing is that there was no death saves or anything for Lancelot because Lancelot just took
like quadruple his max HP total.
Gotcha.
At least.
Yeah, because otherwise, Lancelot would have just been one more person for Tegan to be bouncing back up from 0.
Yep.
Steven, do you have any dice handy?
Me, Steven, or
Manu, Steven?
Yeah, Manu, Steven.
Oh yeah, I do.
Make an animal handling check. DC is pretty low. I'll say the DC is 10.
Would I have been able to guidance / bardic inspiration this?
Anything that you're able to do, if you want to grant that to Manu right now, go for it.
Yeah, you know what? I have that as a cantrip anyways. I'll guidance.
Okay. So Dratari does guidance. Tegan does the help action because Tegan also has animal handling.
So advantage.
A D4 and a D6. Yeah, because this would have been before I leveled up.
And a D6?
Yeah, that's almost certainly to get you above 10.
Yeah. D6 of bardic inspiration because this would have happened just before I leveled.
Okay. Yeah, that helps because originally I rolled a 3.
Oh no!
But now I have a 21.
Oh,
Yay!
nice. Yeah. So I think I'm not sure if it was an area of effect a spell. It might have been a fireball. Might have been what it was.
I think that's probably what it was.
I think it was her cone of cold.
Yeah.
My memory is trashed, so I really don't know. It was an area of effect that getting as many of y'all in it as possible, I couldn't have gotten Lancelot out of that circle. But it had also been a couple turns since I even asked Manu, like, do you have any instructions for Lancelot? So it had been a couple turns that Lancelot hadn't even moved. So I'll say between the help of Dratari and Tegan and the resulting 21 in Manu's animal handling, yeah, I think Lancelot was kind of like an action movie version of a Rube Goldberg machine. Like this action begets that action that sets this action in motion that sends Lancelot tumbling out of the line of fire, and everybody else got hit but Lancelot, so he is fine.
Yay! Boomerang does live.
Where is that note?
Aw, but now we don't get to see Manu's John Wick arc.
I already have an arc going.
I haven't seen any of those movies, but I know enough that to get that joke.
I've seen none of them either. I want to. I just haven't had the time to.
I like Keanu Reeves too. It's just like I'm not a huge fan of cheesy action stuff, but
Well, there is also the stuff like he deliberately assembled a lot of the best fight coordinators in the business. When it came to their prop guns, it kept actually jamming on him. And instead of editing that stuff out like they normally would in movies, they actually incorporated that into how he would have to take cover, clear the slide, or else dump that jammed gun in order to switch to another. And at the same time, it's going to be a 5-movie arc, with each movie being a part of him dealing with grief.
Is it literally the 5 stages of grief, but in movie form?
Yes.
That I like that. I've never seen any of them, but I love that that's the idea behind them.
Mm-hmm. But
I'm gonna take these off for a second and mute myself for a second, but keep going.
There is a picture of Keanu Reeves sitting there just out on the street like Keanu Reeves do. And it's like, you actually have to take a second to realize that the person wearing it is Keanu Reeves, but the shirt says the John Wick series really should have been named Keanu Greaves.
Oh, that's great.
I think they go through all the stages pretty well in just the 4 movies.
But there's 5 stages, so you have to have the last one.
Yeah, there will be a 5th movie.
Yeah, I heard it was just greenlit.
Yep.
I mean, we have 10 Fast and Furious movies.
The 4th one was
since 5.
The 4th one was really good.
Well, the 10th Fast and the Furious is going to be 3 parts.
What?
Yep.
Yeah,
it's Fast X, Fast X XI, Fast X II, Fast X II.
Oh, they're not gonna do. It's not just gonna be Triple X at the end, and it's just gonna loop around into the Xander Cage series.
Yes. I completely forgot about Triple X.
I actually just was working with Fast and the Furious at work.
Wait, you were?
Yeah, we did a promotion with them.
Oh, gotcha.
We've done a couple different Fast and Furious cars in Rocket League. So we just put a new Dodge Charger in and brought back the Nissan Skyline, which is one of the most popular cars in the game because it's sick.
Okay, when you first said that, I was imagining you meant that by one of our friends, Steven, also works on movies. So I thought you meant that by for a second, literally working on the movie itself.
Yeah, Rocket League's gonna be in Fast and Furious.
There's a promotional. You see some of the kids playing it in the background. You have Vin Diesel call out specifically. I don't know enough about it to make an actual reference.
Family.
The family car actually drives a minivan in the game.
Funny enough, when I was like working on everything for Fast and Furious, they wouldn't let me make anything family. They were like, "No, we don't like it." I'm like, "What? Okay." Don't want to have fun or do the thing that everybody associates with.
Look, if Disney can embrace the memes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sal. It's family is actually copyrighted now by Vin Diesel.
No, some of the companies I work with, their ways of protecting their copyright is bonkers.
Oh yeah,
it's just so silly.
I mean,
it's not just me being like I don't know law, I'm stupid. It's like I work with lawyers on every single thing, and they agree with me, and they're like, "Yeah, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but it's what they want."
It's been about a month, and I'm still struggling to process the concept of Wizards of the Coast sending the Pinkertons to a guy.
Well,
It's like,
for me, it's like that is exactly the same level that I just assume every single company in the world is doing all the time. It's no worse than what they've been doing. I'm sure they have other things behind the scenes that are worse. Other companies too. I'm sure Warhammer is the same way. I'm sure
Disney.
Pathfinder is the same way. Like if you have a company with 100 people, there's gonna be a good number of those people who are absolute horrible people.
Oh yeah.
So,
But the least that they
I don't
could
know. It's always awful and never surprising, unfortunately.
I guess what's the term for that? That's kind of
pretty
quickly
stupid of
bad.
them.
Okay,
I
so
would still at least prefer shock,
sorry,
if not surprise.
to
Oh,
interrupt. I did just look it up. It was that Tegan found, in addition to the book and the gem, and y'all also cut out a heart from the chest cavity of Baba Lysaga. In addition to the coinage I just looked up, you had 2 minor healing potions and 1 superior healing potions. And then the coinage was 30 silver, 16 golds, and 8 platinum. And Tegan, I am going to have I'll repeat that. 30 silver. That was biblical, and it wasn't even on purpose.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
So 30 silver.
16 golds.
16 gold.
8 platinum.
I'm debating whether or not Tatari is smart enough to realize that the better deal was to get to ask for some of the gold as opposed to asking for 30 silver because she knows that she needs at least 50 silver.
In addition to that, roll. Do you have dice handy?
I do. Who were you asking on that one?
Tegan.
I do now.
What do you need the silver for?
Roll me 3d6.
Okay, I only have the 1d6, so this will take 3 rolls. 5. 5 again for a total of 10. 1, total of 11.
You also find 33 electrum pieces, all emblazoned with the face of Strahd.
Okay.
So that part handled. That is what Tegan
I could
found
do
in the hut. Yeah, I'm not. Is there something that Tegan can do with a certain amount of silver pieces? I'm not familiar with that.
Well, it's not the silver that I'm thinking. It's the electrum. Because I have 38 silver currently. Because I had 8 silver before, and that was everything I had left. But electrum is a gold-silver alloy.
Right.
And Tegan is
which I didn't know until a couple months ago when you taught me that. I just thought it was a magic D&D fantasy metal.
Nope.
Oh, no, it's a real thing.
Electrum is the name of the silver-gold alloy because silver and gold are the two most electrically conductive materials. We only use copper more frequently because it's more common. Anyway, so I'm wondering if I would be able to use my alchemist supplies to smelt the alkahest to separate the silver so that Tatari can have the rest of her silver.
Yay, for ceremony.
You know how that works more than I do. Is that how that works? And if it's not how that works, I'm likely to allow it anyways.
How do I put this? Tegan is proficient with alchemist supplies, and it doesn't really require a lot of smithing for that type of metallurgy. But knowing what I know about that metallurgy, how do I put this? I wouldn't think Tegan would know how to do that, because I would think it would require both jewelers and alchemists. But that's also me knowing the things I know in real life.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty limited thing. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things you can make with alchemist supplies. But I'll say DC 15 DC 15
intelligence plus alchemist?
Yeah, DC 15, and then you can I'll say, like, while you're wrapping up for your long rest, while you're inside of this ring of standing stones, accompanied by Muriel Vinshaw and Esmeralda Davenier, who probably have some means to help you with, you got a bonfire going. They've got, like, basically a magic version of a kind of funneling a section of that bonfire into a bit of a Bunsen burner, so you could kind of really get something going. So yeah, DC 15 intelligence plus alchemy tools, and
I'm going to guidance.
If anybody else has,
Yeah, I'm going to guidance, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, cantrip. And also, I just love to imagine, like, this whole scene, you're going over the election pieces. It's like the full techno babble and just going through, at least for Jatari, right over her head. I'm not sure how many for everyone else. Maybe Jacques being the only other one actually understanding what's going on.
Wow, the guidance really helped, because that's a 4. And I rolled a 9 on the d20. So that's a total of 13 on the die, plus my proficiency and my int of 1. So that's 4 before I rolled. So 13 and 4 is 17.
Sweet.
right, yeah, that
Guidance makes the
does
difference.
clear it. Right. Yeah. So yeah, Jotari, I'm still not clear what you need the silver for, but
ceremony.
Yeah, ceremony takes 25 silver pieces worth of silver every time you cast it.
Right. But we also have 2 people that are evil now, so she would try to hold. Since the long and point of it for her would be trying to use the. Where were you? Essentially, there's one on here that lets you atonement. You touch one willing creature whose alignment has changed, and you make a DC 20 Wisdom Insight check. On the successful check, you restore the target to its original alignment.
Oh, nice.
And we have 2 people that are a little bit evil now because of dealing with a certain mirror. We won't mention.
That said, Tegan has already deferred the statement of hold off on doing that until we're closer to being out of the Barovia, so that if you instead decide it would be a better idea to, while we are here, use that same spell to instead make holy water, that might be a better use of that resource.
Oh, yeah. That was already going to be the plan, but it was one of those things of, like, she wanted to try to have all of her ducks in a row before anything else. And also, I do love the turmoil for her of, like, but I want to help my friends again.
But I like being evil.
Yeah, I noticed that when you didn't react after Lancelot died. I don't know if that was the purpose for the evil aspect or not.
It probably would have sunk in eventually.
Oh yeah, that was going to be one of the things where if we were going to use this as like the campfire section, like going round table kind of thing, she was definitely going to bring that up with Manu at the very least. I guess the dog is now no longer dead, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do have a few other notes that I wanted to get through, but if we are absent one player, but if y'all want to take some time for 2 or more characters to be able to have some conversation with each other.
1, 2, 3.
Obviously not including Jack or his little friend, but
I would rather hold off on the conversations I want to have with Esmeralda and the party until we are all here.
Yeah.
I will say, let's see. There are 5 people in the party?
Yes. 5 PCs.
3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And 4
not
of us
counting the second Jack.
Yeah.
There are 5.
And not counting Lancelot, and
he's just
not
a robot.
counting
He doesn't
Esmeralda, and that would have been also not counting Irina when she was with the party.
Well, she's dead now, so
5. Well, she is not in your line of sight.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 player characters in the party. Yes, it's a non-game tonight because 4 of us are here.
Right. But I'm going to give myself the short end of this just because it's easier to break it down that way. Where I'm going to keep the 16 gold for myself.
Okay.
But give the 8 platinum 2 each to each person.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Deacon.
Wait.
Excepting myself.
2 each to everybody but yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I keep the 16 gold, and then everyone gets
20 golds.
2. Yeah. But I'm also from there. Out
Giving
of the 13,
silver and the silver's worth of electrum directly to Dortari.
Mm-hmm.
And then doing anything with the gold you separated out?
Well, I would assume out of the 33 electrum pieces that there would be maybe 10 gold pieces worth of
I'll say
gold.
15 of each.
Okay. So yeah,
right.
15 of each instead. Obviously I'm not able to mint it into actual coins, so it's just a miniaturized gold bar, because a proper bar of gold in D&D is 50 coins worth. But I'm just gonna mark 15 gold worth of,
like a roll a quarter size bar of silver and roll a quarter size bar of gold.
Yep.
Yeah.
More like a column of cylinder and column of gold.
Yep. And then,
or maybe you find some nice bit of like texture in the dirt or one of the stones and use that as kind of your, I think crucible is the wrong word because I don't actually know smithing terms, but whatever you call the molds that you pour molten metal into. Maybe you get an interesting shape. Maybe it looks like the popular on Etsy resin molds for like crystals or whatever. I don't know. It could be whatever shape you want. But yeah, 15 golds worth and 15 silver worth you were able to extract the...
And then I'll use remaining alchemical alkahest to ensure that that's chewed down to powder along with 35 other silver pieces worth of silver, and hand the 50 silver pieces worth of brown silver to Dratari.
Nice.
So.
And again, Dratari is very, very thankful on that one.
I did want to mention before we moved off the topic of if y'all wanted to have conversations in between any of your characters that are here. That being said, Rick or Jack, Rick's player character, is not here. I feel like we simultaneously are kind of like go too much to really like dwell on like spending a lot of time on roleplay and having conversations in between the PCs, and at the same time we don't seem to get a lot of progress done in an episode. But I did want to mention that like there's a lot of conversation you could have with Jack about like he's been in Barovia a couple months longer than y'all have. And you did hear him get mad and say, no, don't do that, when you tried to use the mirror to take a hit on Vasily von Holtz. But I don't think you really, because like Dratari was in the middle of being resurrected, y'all didn't really have like, what do you mean by that? How do you know this person? I don't think y'all had that conversation yet. And I feel like some conversations, you could put things together pretty good.
I want to provide a lot of context that you're leaving out to that. This was also right after Jack got mad at Manu for having thunder waved other Jack. Tegan had to play mediator between Jack and the party. Then Tegan had to try and start pulling the let's actually get to know each other because for some reason you're still around us. Kind of thing. And then when Manu, who is the one who thunder waved other Jack, was also the one to send the mirror after Vasily. And once again, Tegan had to step in as the mediator between Manu and Jack, with Jack being, from the character's perspective at least, rightfully agitated. And Tegan did try to continue prying at Jack to open up to us, talk to us somewhat. And even tried to make it a bit of a two-way street kind of a dealie. But I'm not going to say it's not animosity, but Jack's guard is still somewhat up, at the very least, towards Manu.
Yeah, a little bit of tension.
Yeah, and Tegan wants to. Basically, the idea I had in my head was before we're rested, and as we're all still cruddy with our own and one another's blood, and this lady comes up saying, oh, I thought I'd get to be the cavalry coming in to save you. Absolutely, Tegan went off on Ezzy, and rightfully so. In the morning, when we wake up, Tegan is going to want to reestablish another conversation, and it's like, hey, I know magic, you know monsters, Strahd is both, let's get our shit together. And it's very easy to step between Jack and Manu and be the mediator. It's another thing to actually stop and realize with only your +1 wisdom that you can sometimes need to mediate yourself. But after she's rested, she will want to talk to Ezzy from that perspective, and that's actually one of the quotes I'm planning to use is, I know magic, you know monsters. Strahd is both. Let's work together on this. Let's try to think of our problems and head them off ahead of time type dealy.
This could be an implanted memory, but I feel like I have a vague memory that Dratari tried to go to bed with Esmeralda when he wants a long rest at the end of the last session.
So for her, it's
I don't think that was successful, but yeah.
No, it was not intended. Now, here's the thing on that one. That was the case because the way that you said it was specifically sounding like she was inviting the whole team to go in. And I was kind of playing off of that, being like, no, shoot, Shatari would genuinely think that as like a, not even like a sexual thing. She just thought that she was being invited in, kind of thing. And then realizing immediately afterwards, like, oh, that's what you were, okay, never mind. And then immediately turn tail and walk out.
Yeah. But yeah, also beyond that conversation with Esmeralda, that fight was a fucking mess at times, and there were a lot of things that we couldn't have done anything about. But there were certain points wherein, like, Tegan plans to have a conversation with Manu because Manu hid his addiction to the dream pastries, and that ended up biting us in the ass. Manu hid the fact that he had a curse like Tegan's ears, and that ended up leading him to make a deal with the abbot that otherwise the rest of the party had agreed not to. Manu has consistently hit friendly fire. Manu has constantly used his thundering spells to stun Tegan.
Manu has regularly done things counterintuitive to the party's goals, like lighting the fire at the fucking the feast of Saint Andrel when the burgomaster was having a difficult time doing it, and clearly being a fucking tyrant that should be stopped and not assisted.
Look. At least one of those thunder spells was an accident.
But
I don't think I fault Steven at all. I feel like he's role playing his character pretty well, and not in a oh well that's what my character will do, so don't feel shitty about how I'm fucking up the whole
in
part.
real life,
but it has been a kind of a repeated occurrence of the party is trying to do this a certain way. Like when you were re-entering Vallaki and probably gonna get scrutiny by Lady Wachter, and everybody was like, yeah, let's either disguise ourselves or go up invisible or something or other, and we'll kind of try to get through more or less not noticed or not noticed at ourselves. And at the last minute, it's like Manu's like, I'm not doing that. And then so Manu got summoned to Lady Wachter, and how that worked up and split up the party did kind of work out in the end for achieving the goals in
we got the
necessarily
mirror.
The way that I had intended you to go about it. But yeah, Manu definitely has had a pattern of behavior about acting in a manner that is if not necessarily counterproductive in the long run to the party's goals, definitely like counterintuitive and counter-consensual to what the party is kind of like on the same page about.
Yeah,
Manu oftentimes like zigs when everybody else is zagging.
And it's that thing of like, when I say Jack was getting pissed at Manu and Tegan had to mediate, and Jack was getting pissed at Manu and Tegan had to mediate, and Jack was getting pissed at Manu and Tegan had to mediate. I'm not criticizing Jack. But
there's just like
Tegan,
basically two pieces of information about that specifically that I feel like the players will almost immediately put it together, and like I feel like just getting two pieces of information from Jack in conversation could get y'all to realize like who this mysterious tax man is that has eluded you for like 15 episodes or whatever.
However long it's been. Well, I mean, before even I came on.
I do remember.
That will depend on us getting Jack to open up more.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tegan definitely wants to actually, intervention time, like that GIF and chat.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
But Tegan is also not going to do that while Esmeralda is there, because we finally convinced the uppity, stuffy bitch that we are competent and we have our shit together. So to immediately turn around, it's like, all right, team, y'all are fuck ups, and this needs to be fixed right in front of her.
I do wanna. Sorry to interrupt. Tegan/Brooke. This is not an error on either of their parts about like misreading my role playing. It's an error on me not conveying her properly. She is arrogant, she is self-assured, and she is pretty simultaneously confident of her self-reliance / inconfident in her ability to collaborate effectively with other people due to a couple things from her backstory. Like, I'm like trying to play her as standoffish, and firstly, like, because she wasn't meant to be your fated ally, but y'all kind of like liked her right away. I kind of had to make her like not want to hang out with y'all for that reason. So yeah, I like your role-playing response to her words and action is appropriate. It's just also like I'm not role-playing her character well enough to convey kind of properly
let me
nuance of.
Let me emphasize that there are a lot of the things that the little comments I've made about her being an uppity, stuffy bitch, most of that has been out of character. The stuff that I said and reacted to in character was very much so because this person rolled up after the battle, a battle that went the way it did, where quite literally the last person went down, and then Tegan, who is the uber heel bot of the group, rolls
Evil
a nat
Tegan.
20. Rolls a nat 20 on a.
Can't forget that.
Yeah, death save. And yeah, that actually is another part of it. Is like I sent to you in a private message, when the mirror turned Tegan full evil, I finished the descent by actually rewriting my traits, ideals, and nope, just traits and ideals.
Yeah.
And
flaws, evil.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I still have the same flaw. I will fuck around and find out. But it really is that case of this is evil Tegan now, and I'm sorry, but you're after a battle that was that strenuous, and Tegan as caked in the mud of the swamp of Berez and her own blood and all of her teammates' blood and everything else. And this person walks up and is still that self-assured cavalier person with no decorum towards our exhaustion. That was why Tegan acted the way she did, and that's also
very
and that's
understandable
also
and valid and appropriate.
That's also why when we wake up, Tegan will have another conversation with her.
Right.
When Tegan's not, this is going to be Tegan post Snickers bar.
Yeah, right. You're not you when you're hungry. Take a long rest. How do I say this? Like, I improvised lines she said when she approached her, kind of a little peek behind the DM screen here is like, mechanically and utility wise, like her and Muriel Vinshaw were within like 2 or 3 rounds of joining y'all in combat. Muriel would be less likely to do so, and Esmeralda would be more likely to just charge in. But I wanted that to be a very feels like a boss fight, especially after the first half of it where you kind of handed her ass to her before she kind of turned it around on you and made y'all really, have to get on your back foot to get back engaged. So like I had them there in case y'all couldn't handle the shift in tides of like I had both of them there to prevent or mitigate or ex machina in the case of a TPK or very close to potential TPK, but I did very much want them not to. Okay, well, all 5 of you failed. Now 1 player comes in that's not even a player character. It's a DM PC, basically, that's just winning the game for you. Like, that sucks. Like, so I didn't want to do that. I was basically having her roll up. I was trying to play her a little more, like, sheepish, but, like, very good at feigning the absence of lack of confidence. I try to see it as like, oh, I had really hoped to get here soon enough to help you guys out, but you guys kicked ass. Like, but I think the line I said was a lot more condescending and a lot more like, shit, I wish you wished a piece of ass for me to kick.
It wasn't. When she walked up, she actually was in a kind of a case of, wow, you guys did it. I thought I was going to have to be the cavalry. But how Tegan took it was, I was expecting to be the cavalry and save you. And there's that disparity.
Yeah.
So no, you got the sheepishness correctly. Tegan just was not fucking...
Yeah,
I think
that is a good segue. But before I start that segue, I think Scout chimed in a couple times, and I wanted to make sure we're not. I feel like you had a couple things to say or ask or talk about.
I tuned out while we talked about the money because I just hate currency changes. So how much money do I get?
So
I gave everyone but myself 2 platinum.
Okay, got that. Sweet.
Yeah, I should record that. And that was 35, you said 30 pieces of silver, and how much?
You have 50 pieces of silver dust.
Sweet.
Ooh, 2 spells.
So yeah, you got 2 instances of ceremony.
You can cast,
Sweet.
You can, what is it?
And I imagine it's
Tegan
that is holding the 3 healing potions. That's kind of like the party healer.
I haven't decided how or if or whether to distribute the healing pots quite yet. Because yes, I am the party healer, but that also means that I am the person who least needs to be carrying the pot.
Yeah. I was actually going to say it might be good if I carry it, because I'm likely to be the only one standing sometime in the future, hopefully, if the build works. So, and I have no abilities to bring people back at all.
And
so I gotta do it mechanically.
Yeah, and despite the fact that Dratari and Jack both have other methods of healing, Dratari is the next tankiest person.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And is, how do I put this? Is definitely the next most likely person to be able to utilize that healing pot to pick someone else up. And then Flesh Jack is a freaking archer. So if there's anyone who's likely to be not in the fray, you know, there's being tanky in the way that you can take the hit, and then there's being tanky in the way that you're way away from any of the hits.
Oh yeah.
On an unrelated note, I feel like that kind of relates to that. I feel like if I did make a different system, one of my main gripes is if I did make my own like TTRPG system, one of my main gripes is like how like armor class works. I feel like having a higher armor class should make you easier to hit, but maybe mitigate a certain amount of that damage.
And that's the way in both the Age systems and in the World of Dark system that it is. In the World of Darkness games, when someone is trying to attack you, you usually have a chance to dodge it to some extent with a dodge skill. But then once it's hit you, okay, it's a dice pool, and say they have 3 successes to hit you, and you roll the dodge, and you only get 1 success on the dodge, so they still have 2 successes to hit you. So one of those successes rolls over to their damage roll, and their strength is 3, and their weapon gives them their strength plus 2 or whatever. So now they've got 6 dice to damage you. 4 of those succeed. You can try to soak it, and that's your constitution plus your armor. But when you're wearing that armor, you have a penalty to your dex for dodging and all that crap. In the Age system, it's just straight up. Your armor gives you a penalty to your dexterity when it comes to speed, but it's straight up just damage mitigation. Every time, if you're wearing full plate, which is an armor rating of 7, but your dex is -4, so your speed is 4 less. If you're not fully trained with the full plate, your defense rating would also be 4 less. But anytime you took damage, it would be 7 less. So there's more systems that do it like what you just said than systems that do it the D&D way. Where you are easier to hit and you do move more slowly. But it matters less when you're hit. But yeah.
I think 5e did incorporate something like that in the heavy armor master feat. I think that mitigates a little bit of damage.
It mitigates 3 points of damage from non-magical physical attacks.
Oh, that's garbage.
For the cost of a feat. Well, it's also a half feat, so you're raising your strength by 1 also. But
still, though.
Yeah, it's not worthless, but it still would not be my pick for a feat in most cases. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, sorry. Was when Scout chimed in and we kind of talked over her, and then she got back to us and clarified what we did with kind of the loot we collected from the hut. Was there, I think we were talking about, do any of the four of y'all want to have any sort of conversation with each other during this time? Tegan kind of said her piece and that she'd rather do most of it during our next session when Rick is back, and B, after a long rest to talk to Esmeralda and whatnot. But Scott, was there anything else that you wanted to ask about or have a conversation with one of the other players about?
No, not. I'd rather do all the in-game stuff while we're all here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also just like mentally, wasn't really planning on role playing, so not.
And you don't have to do it like super in-game, like I'm talking as my character. You can just ask some questions and whatever. And but it's totally fine if you want to save that for an actual game night. I do want to pass that question to Steven and Steven to see if there's any. And again, you don't have to be super, character voice or in role play, but if there's any exchange of information that you want to do between yourselves or either the other two characters that we have players here for, y'all are welcome to talk about some things that we haven't had a chance to do an in-game like role play conversation about, but things you do want to communicate between the players, or the player characters rather, or either, really.
Oh yeah. Honestly, for me, I think it would be a little bit easier if everyone's in here as well with Jack, especially since part of the things that I was thinking of going into, if it ever comes up, is have like moments of going in and out of quote unquote infernal, basically whenever I speak random German. And I figure for that one, it'd be more fun if Jack's here because he's the only character I think that actually knows infernal.
I'm not sure what languages any of y'all know, really.
Yeah, I actually don't remember. I think I just know Goblin and I just know Goblin and Orc.
A couple of y'all have comprehend.
I can talk to Jack about Goblin, but
I have comprehend languages once a day for free.
Oh.
So
in that case, yeah. Because for me, it might be a case where it's more like, oh, she slips in and out of it, since the kind of way that I like to play her is Common is her second language.
So yeah, if there's not any sort of role play or not role play, just like exchange of information in between any of the four player characters we have now, or any of y'all four and either of the two NPCs that are present with y'all, we can also, like, y'all are welcome to ask me behind the DM's screen questions. I'll try to spare like some spoilers, but you could just bluntly ask me some questions about things that are going on, and I could be candid about some things.
I do want to say that there is one thing that I want to have start happening, but I also don't want it to take up that much in-game time. And on the first and on the first day of me doing this, the only one who would probably see it would be Stuntman Eddie. Because you know how when you have that complete exhaustion, fall down, pass the hell out, you actually wake up fairly well rested about 6 hours later. And technically in D&D, your 8-hour long rest, you only actually have to sleep 6 of those hours. So Tegan will probably end up
even less for Eddie.
That's my point, is Eddie only needs 4. Eddie only needs 4, so he's going to see Tegan doing this shit.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the deal. After Tegan wakes up, she's going to end up pulling out the little flesh golem construct of baby Strahd from her bag of colding.
That was another thing I was going to ask because I forgot what happened with that at the end of the game. So you put him in the fridge.
Bag of holding.
The fridge fanny pack.
The fridge. He's in the fridge section.
The baby in the bag.
So, and then I'm just going
and
to.
And unless I'm mistaken, a flesh golem would be fine in there, right? They don't like die from shit like that. It's just
they don't breathe, do they?
Gonna be cold.
They don't have to.
So you have a Vegeta freezer baby. That is, I was gonna ask what exactly you did with that. Good. That is good to know. I'm gonna put that in my notes here too.
And I'm going to use my minor illusion cantrip over and over again. To legitimately just put on my own little puppet show of chibi incompetent Strahd. I am the land. You shall obey me.
Look how sexy I am.
Like,
right?
So I just added in my notes here.
How big my ass is.
In my notes here, that's about the heart, the fane, the stones, the gem, the baby, the dragon skull, and then one of the check parts was what's the deal with these things. And after that statement from Tegan, I've added the note: Vegeta freezer baby cantripped into a puppet show of incompetent boss baby Strahd.
Yes.
Okay, and I think does Stuntman Eddie have the marionette? I think Stormy was the person who bought that, so I don't know who.
She left it behind.
So now you have a baby. So now you have a baby and a Strahd marionette between. I don't know who has the marionette, but
I've got the Strahd marionette, but I also have.
You also have the squeezy toy too.
I also have some failed Irina dolls.
Right, but as it relates to Strahd iconography, you also have basically a plushy dog toy Strahd that
I have
that Lancelot really likes.
I think the Blinsky vampire toy.
Yeah. So that's great. Now you have a collection of small Strahd-esque
I
merchandising.
I must ask, how much did the brothers look alike?
Strahd and Sergei, the one you met in the lake, they looked pretty similar. I would say Sergei looked
perfect,
more handsome. I would say Sergei had kinder facial features and expression, kind of a softer jaw, and appeared to be more of a gentle and caring individual, whereas any paintings and depictions of Strahd's, even in his most neutral mouth shape and neutral eyebrow shape, it's just resting malevolence face is what Strahd has, where Sergei didn't really have that.
My point is that not this first morning, but in the future going forth, if I can grab the marionette of Ileana and Strahd, which I would have be in the puppet show, be Sergei, because I have mage hand. I have 3 hands. So I can have one of the skits be that it's trying to be a Punch and Judy puppet show.
But they're all Strahd, and you're doing a better job than Vasily von Holtz, or Rictavio, the circus man. You're doing a better puppet show about Strahd than Rictavio.
That, but also just the idea of the flesh golem boss baby Strahd trying to demand that they do the things that he wants and be his puppets while willfully disregarding the fact that he's talking to literal puppets that can't act on his orders.
Well, we need to roll for a performance.
I mean, if you do this in character performance or something, I don't know.
I will actually be doing these things in some of these mornings.
I'm about it. I am pro this message.
And I'm not really doing it that much for an audience. It's just kind of Tegan's way of venting. And if that happens to also be uplifting to her party members, then yay.
Broad puppet.
Regardless, Shatari will do a little clap.
Although Eddie does know about the dramatic, I think Eddie also appreciates a good punching bag. And I think if he can be a part of the play and hit the baby a little bit, he would be pretty into that, especially if we planned to perform this for Strahd one day. Like, I think that we could keep improving the act and take it on the road to Ravenloft.
No, Scout. Not hit the baby, kick the baby.
Kick the baby. I'm thinking maybe hacky sack with the Vegeta baby.
Can I ask you this question though, Agatha? If I keep practicing this skit, could I then cast, in a final battle with Strahd, cast Vicious Mockery through the Flesh Golem?
I don't know how that works, but
it's only a verbal spell. It doesn't need a material component.
Rule of cool. It sounds like something I would want to allow, even if rules is written. That's not how it works. But I don't know if I had you sacrifice an attunement slot, even though I don't think you can attune to a golem, but like did something like that to be able to do verbal spells through it, kind of like a familiar, but that's a weird idea that I don't hate, but I am scared of the implications of.
Actually, yeah, that's a good question.
Before Eddie plays hacky sack with a baby, is everyone okay with Eddie playing hacky sack with a baby? Because I know not everyone loves that, but
I mean, yeah, I feel like the dog toy version of Strahd would be less upsetting imagery to do that with.
Yeah, I would not be doing it with a real Strahd baby, but a fake Strahd baby is a little too good of a chance to give up.
Let's put it this way. I think Jatari's characterization of being like very sympathetic towards kids and like had to go out the window after Manu admitted to eating babies. Just a tad bit.
Whoa. I did not eat babies, okay?
Yeah, you did.
Didn't just eat them, savored them, became addicted to them.
I mean,
it's more complicated.
To be fair, it's kind of like pancakes made out of cricket flour. Like ideologically, if that type of thing squicks you out, you might like have a gag reflex just by eating a bite of that pancake. But A, if you don't know that it's made out of crickets, B, there's nothing that makes it obvious that the flour is made out of crickets, and C, if you just eat it and it's fine, it's kind of like you're not eating crickets.
Agatha?
Justification for eating babies.
He still had dream pastries left after the battle at the windmill.
Look,
and
it was
he
just
still ate them.
it was
He
just
saw how
what
the
I
hot
had
dog was
left.
made.
And he kept a supply going with him for at least a couple weeks, but I think to his benefit, at some point he did throw them all away and suffer
Did he?
exhaustion effects.
No, I think it was just that
He ran out.
I ran out. And
Did you? I could have
yeah.
sworn you
So-
had made the conscious decision to get rid of an amount that you had left.
Well, I think they had like a cart because the one witch had come back and she had some, so I was gonna take those, but then they were like, no, you can't take those, they're made of kids, and I was like, fine.
Yeah.
But I still kept the ones that I had already had.
And actually, if I recall correctly, even when we told you no, they're made of children.
I think he did sneak like a whole baking tray that just
Yeah,
came out
you
of
still-
the
you
I
still
feel
got-
like you had like 20 at some point in your inventory. You had a lot.
And
Maybe
to
a
be fair-
dozen. I feel like you did snag outside of the view of all your other party members. You did snag like a whole fresh tray.
Yeah.
And something happened with those. I don't have those anymore. I don't have any of those anymore.
Yeah.
My memory is always trash, but I do feel like I remember that you did make a conscious decision to get rid of the amount that you had left, and you made that decision before you got A, your dark gift, and B, your addiction cured by the abbot. I think I feel like that was a good character moment where you made like a hard but good choice. But again, my memory, I could just be inventing that. I don't remember. I don't take any notes at all, and actually lately, especially the last like dozen episodes, I haven't even been good about going back to re-listen to them to refresh my memory. But
well, there's about 2 or 3 episodes that I'm going to rewatch the better portion of those episodes before our next actual session, just so that when I actually bring stuff up in character as Tegan, I'm not going. I'll have a better.
I'm still here. I'll be back in a couple seconds.
Yeah, a better recollection of it, because I'll have just rewatched those sections of those videos.
Oh, actually, quick question on that one. So this one will okay. It may or may not be a character moment for later, but this is actually specifically to Manu. It was going to be the very first question. It might be also better with Agatha here, because did you have a special connection to Argynvost? Like, I get it for Jatari.
What Manu?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a connection to Argynvost.
Okay.
That is an interesting segue, and I'm probably going to have to take a break here in not too long, because I think we're getting pizza soon.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, the dragon skull is something that you did, if I remember correctly, have the wherewithal and foresight enough to take with you away. And I think the book, the module as written, doesn't give a very good way to telegraph this information to the players. But I guess this is straying into, maybe calling it spoilery is too strong of words, but kind of, behind the DM screen, asking me some candid questions that your characters wouldn't necessarily know, or that I just haven't been able to properly convey. I think I've tried to convey mostly to Manu, but also to Dratari, that Argynvostholt Part 2, it's going to be very important to take that skull and return it there to a very specific location to kind of clear that
Oh yeah,
dungeon.
Oh,
Because
I
when
figured. Yeah.
after we killed Lysaga, that shadow came back that I had seen at Argynvostholt, and it kind of like, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was like,
Same, because I improvised it because the book doesn't really tell me how to telegraph to the players that they need that item to return to a certain location. Also, in the book, the location where you got it is not where it is in the module as written, but I thought it made more sense there.
Yeah, and that being said, I might still end up doing that in character. I don't recall if you mentioned that shadow thing before in character.
I think Manu was the person who saw it the first time y'all went to Argynvostholt, but you had Dratari had died during the second session of Argynvostholt, and I kind of tried to use that as a way to not only like reiterate to Manu, who had seen the shadow, but also kind of telegraph some of this information in not so like direct or explicit or on the nose of a way that like this skull returning to that place is important for your objective there.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I was going to do it in character regardless, because I feel like that's a good lead-in anyways, because it literally just happened to us, and then kind of continue with the campfire tell all around if we wanted to keep it going. But yeah, figured that would be the easiest way to transition and go like, so Manu, the fuck was that? Kind of thing.
Yeah, I think as a player, I forgot to mention the whole thing, but Dratari also died, so it kind of it's still kind of worked in my favor that I haven't told anybody about that yet.
Exactly, that will make for a fun little thing there, like saying, like, look, I understand why I felt that way, because I kind of sort of, well, we know it happened, but why did you? Kind of thing, and then et cetera, we can go from there. But yeah. Everything else will probably, like we were saying beforehand, will be more fun with the whole party. And actually, yeah, since I did have a few questions for Amana, did you want me to just say, like, generally what they'd be player to player, or did we want to do it more?
Yeah, I mean, you can if you want to get some of that out now.
But yeah, that's just going to be the first one, and the other. Ah, shoot. I know that I have them somewhere. Of course, that's the only one that I can remember off the top of my head. Kitty? Kitty!
Yeah.
Bless you.
Another one of the previous functions of the Z Beholder account was that in the Discord chat window, myself and every other players could get like a preview of what the episode is going to look like once it goes up onto YouTube. But I've recently changed some of how my setup is, and that account is no longer doing that anymore. So you guys don't get the live preview, but as soon as your kitty got up on your lap, I did like change the background and then like unlock the Discord call window and just zoom way in on Steven's screen, and then put a kind of cartoon gif of a different sleeping cat next to your cat.
Nice. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, so this mirror then. Did we actually have a plan for it, or yeah? And this is kind of more players to players, not just Manu.
I stay strapped. Put that mirror on my back.
Just forever be your shield.
No, I think Stuntman Eddie is fine with everyone else using it. He's not going to use it though.
Yeah, because I feel like at this point we're kind of at the weird point that the people that want to use it the most are also going to be the most in danger.
He would use it on Strahd, but I don't think there's any point of that. It would just die, so.
Yeah, I mean, we already figured that out with
It would have to be someone
Abuya
I
Saga.
really hate, and that old bat bastard, as he says, is the only person who fits the bill that he can remember.
And there's basically that case of who would we send it out after that it would be able to be a relevant threat to, that it wouldn't be just better for us to take care of on our own, especially given that we saw it try to betray Tegan's use of it.
Yep.
So you have Tegan and Manu, who anytime we try to use it from now on, it will try to kill us, and only if we resist that attempt will it go after the target we send it after. And then there's Dratari, Jack, and Eddie, who have no interest in using it themselves. And so it really is that case of who would we use it against that we wouldn't just be
use it.
Yeah, technically we do have other people in the party, but
we can have
bad for that.
We can just have like a running line of mirror fodder.
Mirror fodder.
And I know how we convince them to do it. If you don't do it, we'll use it on you.
That can burn.
Damn, Eddie.
But other people
can
using
burn
it
bridges.
would be nice.
But
just go to freaking Villagi, like, hey, Davey and Danica, you check out this new mirror we got.
It's crazy.
Look into it and say someone's name.
Yeah,
I have a name for you if you don't. Here, I'll give you a gold piece if you'll. No, I'll give you a silver piece if you say a name into this mirror, dude.
Yeah, my issue is it's not strong enough to threaten the people that we would really need it to threaten.
Yeah,
I think we tied up as many loose ends as we could.
And then some, Manu.
Yep.
You're welcome.
But and that's also just the point is the main reason Tegan wanted us to take it initially wasn't really for us to use it. It was for us to prevent other people using it.
Oh man, that changed fast.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, oh yeah, good.
But then we figured out we could use it at least to some extent, which we did. Now we figured out it has this upper limit that really makes it not that useful in extreme circumstances. And it's that case of we still don't want other people to get a hold of it and to use it and abuse it. But at the same time, we can't really use it or abuse it well anymore either. And having it around introduces that little bit more of in-party mistrust. Because as long as that mirror's there, Tegan and Manu are going to have to regard each other with a little bit of suspicion about when's the next time you're going to try and use this. And
I don't have any more grudges, so.
And Dratari's looking at both of us like, I really want to atone you, but if I do, you're probably just going to go right back to using this until it turns you evil again.
Yep. Well, and actually above table, I do have a solution for the turning back thing. We do have remove curse. Jatari can't read, so she can't read it, but we do have that remove curse scroll.
But
oh, that's why you were getting ceremony, huh? I forgot. It's been a minute since we discussed it, so.
You're fine. That was just really funny.
we are somewhat at the point wherein the real question is, would it be dangerous to destroy the mirror?
That was my other thing. Like, okay, thinking as a player, not as a character, my brain first went with the remove curse. Knowing Jatari, her first inclination of basically, I don't know if she would even wait at this point. She'd be so pissed off at this goddamn mirror that she would try to, full with a sword attack it. Because she feels like it's hurting her friends. Like, obviously, we had Bobby Yasaga to deal with, so that kind of took priority, but...
Yeah, the second we figured out that that we knew it would react differently to an evil person. Now we know exactly what. We were curious about trying to use it to work our way up to trying to send it after Strahd, but that's one of the portions of the list of reasons why we waited to use it against Lasaga until we were right there. And it didn't even manage to be a distraction. Didn't even last that long. So we've now figured out it has a hard upper limit. And between those two things, it's really not worth dragging around anymore. Because we can't use it against Strahd, and we can't use it against targets that we don't know their name. So anyone else that we meet in the lands of Barovia here, I think we're done with these people. We're just being done with these locals. And anyone else that makes us cock an eye, it's like, would we want to send an assassin after them in the future? You know what? Just go stab them now. Just not taking a chance.
I will be evil the old-fashioned way.
So, yeah, in and out of character, Tegan and Brooke are both curious at this point about just destroying it. And definitely if Jatari moves towards that mirror, like, that would raise Tegan's eyebrow, because why would you, of all people, be getting near the mirror? And and then if Jatari makes it clear that they're about to hack at the mirror, Tegan will probably pop Bless on you just in case.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it would help the attack roll, but at the same time, if you do manage to break the mirror, and then that lets out the assassin trying to get after you, or otherwise puts some kind of attempts to put a curse on you of some kind, the D4 bless that your saving throws would better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So yeah, if Jatari starts to move to destroy the mirror, you would pretty much at that moment bless Bardic and a spell that Agatha let me take when I leveled up. I now have silvery barbs.
Ooh. Nice. Yeah, because it's one of those things, like, character-wise, part of me wants to do it, like, that night at the campfire, but I know, like, we are not ready. We're not at full after rest. We would need to rest first in order to deal with anything that's about to happen. Because we have a angry spirit thingy going on in this mirror. That's not a good time to... When everyone's already exhausted, is not the good time to deal with the haunted mirror.
Yeah.
But that is just, like, thinking of the player versus... Well, actually, no, that's probably also still in character for her. It's like, okay, fine, she'll deal with the fact that we have to deal with this thing for one more night. But then, yeah.
Yeah,
about 15 minutes from now will be 8:05. I need to take a little break because we've got dinner showing up in a second. I could be back in probably in like 20 minutes, so that puts us at like a 10 or so. Y'all
Okay.
are welcome to hang
Ooh.
out and keep chatting. I might join as a ZB holder and put an earbud in just so I could listen in.
Okay.
I'll keep some tunes going. Not those tunes, and not those tunes.
Show tunes. Wait, what?
And I did just read the spoilery thing there. I'm not going to say anything more, but that is interesting.
There are a couple other notes that I do want to come back after break to, fleshing out the Muriel and Standing Stone scene a little bit before y'all get to bed. The Tome of Strahd I want to present to y'all as it is in the book. It's kind of not much besides 2 pages of info dump. I do have a video queued up of Chris Perkins reading it, but I think the background audio, the background music on that is almost certainly going to get me a copyright strike, which I don't really care about that. There was 2 other versions of that book that I thought were better than what was presented in the module, but I wasn't able to really get that prepared to present to y'all about that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing talking about when we come back is that we've leveled up to 6 in a couple specific details. But yeah, I'm going to head out and be back in probably about 20, let's say like 10 past this hour, if that's cool with y'all.
Sounds good.
Refill my
you're
water.
Welcome to keep hanging out. The screen is on there. I'm going to mute myself and...
Oh, by the way, Scout, are you using the time to paint one of your miniatures? Like you were suggesting doing earlier.
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Nah, don't feel like it. I do
Fair
still
enough.
paint Holly though. Or
Ooh.
at the very least, just paint her head. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We started a new in-person campaign between us two and other friends.
Yep.
And I have to say that
We did our first session was on Wednesday. We successfully killed wolves.
As it always starts. And I have to say, I can't believe that the majority of my DM notes had to basically just be names so that I could remember later.
Yep.
Remember the names I just randomly made up.
Mood.
We also technically fought a shopkeeper. In our
Yeah,
first
you
session.
did. I still can't believe you friended a little child, a little halfling child. That did lead to a fun moment, though. I will grant you that.
Yeah, I have my character is a plasmoid, and both literally and figuratively, they have problems with boundaries. So they've kind of just been like, sure, that sounds good. Which includes like joining the city watch on a permanent basis and
A sketchy city watch, for that matter.
Buying the first item that was offered to them for all of their gold.
And also,
immediately using it
on a literally little child. Like, I was just kind of making it up on the fly for that, but how tall would a child like halfling be? 2 feet tall?
Yeah, probably.
Something like that.
Yeah, because like, how big do halflings get again? 3 feet?
About 2'8"
Wow. So
Are
like,
they really that small? I thought they were like 3.5.
It says they average about 3 feet tall.
oh my god.
It's pretty tiny.
Yeah, no, because the thing that Scott didn't mention was the shop keep technically was this little halfling child, but the blacksmith in the back was a Goliath. So there's a scene of the Goliath picking him up, and now that just makes it even funnier, imagining. And yes, our other player is a orc that decided to
Yeah, we have,
One
we
look
have
at
a
the
Warhammer orc in our party.
yeah.
They are from Hammerspace. I guess you could canonically
Say
spell
yeah.
jam it up a little bit and put them in a crystal orb or something.
Well, it's funny that you say that because it was actually from your backstory that I even had that idea of like, oh, interplanar travel kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, well, I mean, when you already open up the multiverse.
Yeah, works great for my character was created in a. She's real into portals and things. She like her goal is to to cut a hole in the sky. That's like her plan for the campaign. So she's real interested in this orc who's from another world. And I don't think the orc has any answers.
Nope,
So,
probably not.
would you say that your plasmid character now is thinking with portals?
Yes.
Yeah. She was literally created in a like portal spell gone wrong. Her head is the focus of the spell that created her.
Okay, I can't go into much more because I'm the DM for this
Oh
campaign.
no, feel free.
But I now have a characterization for your elf father there.
Oh great.
Hi, I'm Kay Johnson. I own the
Exactly.
place.
God. Thank you for that, Brooke. Thank you for that.
I mean, it's Portal. I'm me. It's gonna come up.
Well, I'm surprised I didn't think of it either because I went with the portal idea, but I never thought ahead of time. I was like, I can make the Father Cave Johnson. Which still actually fits pretty damn well with the way that you were describing him earlier to me, Scout.
Well, that doesn't spoil anything for me because I actually haven't played Portal yet.
What? Really?
Nope, never gotten around to it.
Oh, okay. That one would be a great one for you and Marcelo to play.
Wait, I might have played Portal 2.
Oh, yeah, Cave Johnson's in Portal 2.
Yeah.
There was another one that was released fairly recently. Not really a Portal game, but
the one for the
it
Steam,
was,
right?
I don't remember. It was basically like you're an employee for Aperture.
I've heard of that. I still need to give that a go. This was a triumph.
Making a note here.
Huge success. It's
Right,
hard
yeah,
to
it's for the Steam Deck.
overstate my satisfaction.
Sorry, what was that, Steven?
It was for the Steam Deck. It's called Aperture Desk Job.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Go fill my water. I'm still on my headset so I can hear you guys. I'm just refilling.
It's got a pretty nice surprise at the end.
Ooh. Wheatley comes back. Wheatley comes.
I think it takes place before Aperture falls apart.
I mean, it would have
gotcha.
to. If you're a
human
working at Aperture.
And they could just be bringing in people like, hey, we're trying to reinvigorate the brand.
After it already went to shit. Well, here you guys go. Here's Portal 3. You guys made fun of us for so long for never being able to make a third game to our
Brought to you by the company that couldn't count to 3 if their lives depended on it.
Yep.
Portal. If you ever saw the Honest Game trailer for the Portal games or Half-Life games,
I've seen that.
Actually, anytime the Honest trailers guys talk about anything Valve does, they intro it. Brought to you by the company that can count to 3 if their lives depended on it.
Yep. I wish that Valve made more games again. Yeah, Yeah, I'm trying to think through some of the other things that. Oh, yeah. Otherwise, I think the other thing would have been the fact that Jotaro was probably going to open it up by giving all of the kudos for Manu for being able to take down Baba Yaga in the first place. By the very end there.
What can I say? It was barely a team effort. I did a lot of the
Wow.
heavy lifting.
Wow.
I mean, I used almost all of my spell slots.
I did a lot of potential work that ended up being absolutely nothing.
I was so
Hey,
hoping for
It
you on
was
that one
like
scout.
very
That looks cool.
important, and then it all fell apart.
To be
Got
fair,
so close.
you managed. First of all, when you got the gem
Oh, did
loose,
get it out of the floor though.
yeah, and that's something Jack would not have been able to do. And then there's the fact of even after that, once the saga was floating around and whatnot, had you not taken the actions you took, she would have been able to get away with doing a lot more. But for the fact that you were harrying her, and she couldn't get good angles on us without you getting a good angle on her, and kind of this vice versa type dealy. You were I like how I said it the first time. You were very good at harrying her, and that was very needed.
True. It all worked out.
And it looked really cool.
Oh yeah, it was definitely right up Stuntman Eddie's alley.
Unfortunately,
You
more
can't
than
you
half
can't
of
stunt them all though.
yeah, unfortunately, more than half of your audience was unconscious at least half of the time.
That's true.
Who? But 4 people in the audience, and at least 2 of them are down at any given point. But yeah.
Oh, Stuntman. I think I said it last time, but Stuntman Eddie for level 6 is taking a fighter level.
Oh yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yep. Getting a
Just-
little specialized.
And I finally got my aura. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be massive, especially for
Oh yeah, you did. Nice.
for like Tegan's going to want to try and actually stay near you just so that she doesn't get stunned as much.
What fighting style did Eddie take?
I'm actually looking at that right now.
It actually kind of makes more sense for
Like-
Chitari anyways, characterization-wise.
I think 2-weapon fighting is great weapon is probably the default choice just for his two-handed, unarmored barbarian style. But interception might be nice too.
Oh, and by the way, thank you, Tegan, a lot for that save there at the end with the allowing for your what's the term called? Inspiration being used to try to make sure that I didn't have to deal with that in that one.
Yeah.
For the
I
death.
mean, on the one hand, yeah, that was like the second or third instance of inspiration being used on that thing, but on the other hand, like, it just made too much sense with the way that our characters keep getting more so than anyone else in the party. I think Tegan and Jatari have bonded. Although Tegan's getting there pretty quickly with, her new great I don't know how to say it. Not quite idol. It's not like Eddie's Keegan's champion, but she is his fan. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's also everyone's favorite.
Including Eddie's favorite. Eddie will always be his own biggest fan.
Aw.
That he remembers.
True. Yeah. Actually, I do have some stuff planned for Eddie, where he might not be so invulnerable after all.
You know, I am just waiting for like a random character to now run up and say, "Oh, Eddie, it's you," and you kind of have to go like, "Yes, I know."
I'm interested because we did discuss that, like, technically he could have that, but it wouldn't be in Barovia. It would be once we get out of Barovia. He may have an adoring public.
Ooh.
We'll see what happens. How would he know?
And although it does make less sense now because of the actually having enough silver to deal with the situation, part of me doesn't mind having that moment that we were discussing a few months ago now, jeez, of the whole, not necessarily destroying the armor that you started with, but repurposing that armor to try to sell off to someone else, to try to make something cool.
What armor are you wearing?
Right now I'm wearing that the plate mail that we got from the tower. The one that's actually reanimate.
Okay, yes, but okay, so you're wearing the full plate that we just got, but you're talking about doing something with this other armor. What is the other armor?
Oh, chainmail. Since we were saying something to the effect of trying to make it look like it's Eddie memorabilia, unless if someone else can use chainmail.
No.
Talk on it, but otherwise.
I could, but I think I'm gonna keep, just for thematic reasons, I think I'll do the unarmored defense barbarian.
I was
Not
gonna
the
say
best meta choice, but I think it's just kind of fun. At least for now. Maybe Eddie might suit up for the Strahd fight, I think, but...
Well, that being said, that still would fit for at least the initial idea of, hey, look, I'm thinking of ways of like getting cash back so that we're not as on the other foot about it. Let's make a memorabilia. But if you fall in love with the armor and want to use it for yourself, that still feels kind of right.
Oh, unfortunately,
it would be a +2 to my AC, so.
Yeah, and I can't wear. I'm currently only wearing a bit of light armor, but I am proficient with medium armor.
Oh, is it heavy?
And yeah, unfortunately, chainmail is heavy.
Dang.
You know what? I actually might take that chainmail and just mechanically have it, and visually in my imagination still be free as a bird.
We can glamour it up, right? Oh wait, no, that was never mind. Yeah.
Glamour? What is that? Stuff Final Fantasy?
I think that is Final Fantasy, but I thought we had something where we could change the look of an outfit. But
my armor is that way. My armor is a glamored studded leather that lets me make it look however I want it to look.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take that chainmail if you're
Sure.
gonna sell it off. I'll thrift store it instead.
Okay. We can make a moment of that if we want to, because I feel like either we. Actually, yeah, I could definitely see her feeling a lot better with that idea. Like, she'll first still have the idea of, oh, we should sell this off so we can actually have some more money on us.
I'm wearing it under my costume, though.
Yeah. But then when you have that moment of like, well, actually, if you're just going to sell this off, I could probably even use it. She'll definitely go with the idea of, wait, friends need help. Let's help friends.
Sweet.
Because friendship.
It is magic.
Just to let you know then, unless if you do anything else to it, it does have a little frog on it.
Oh, that's fine.
And I think it was like, oh, what is the name of that color? Where blue meets green. Aquamarine kind of color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, you're just going to have it.
Turquoise.
Or teal.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
teal. Yeah, like that kind of thing. A little bit shimmery, kind of like your sword. Again, like, it's going to be under your suit anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but...
It's gonna be underneath all this fabulousness.
Hell yeah. And she will be slightly tearful to give a way, but she'll at least be glad that it's being put to better use than just being stored in a backpack.
Yeah. I want to become even more unkillable.
Hell yeah.
That appeals to me.
I noticed that with Holly. Jesus, you had an AC of 18.
Oh, that's not even like I could have made that higher, but
Oh, I know. I mean,
she's just kind of a tough cleric. I don't want her to die because she's the only one who can. She's
heal
the only
anyone?
she's the only one with any buffs in the whole party. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we have an alcoholic wizard. We have a orc from another dimension. We have the Witcher, but an archer. And now we have Holly as well. I mean, I think that's kind of the angle that Orna is, right? She is alcoholic.
Is she?
Or
I feel like Orna is just wild. They just they got super drunk in our first campaign night, but that's just because it just worked with what we were doing in game.
yeah,
And someone challenged them to it. Whereas I think that what's their name? Thrastle?
oh, Thrast.
Thrastle? Thrastle is the true alcoholic of the group. It's not one is a binge drinker, one is a drink to forget the destruction of my entire town and every single person I've ever known, loved, or met, kind of drunk.
Yeah.
Which, understandable.
Makes sense.
And Holly is my second character to imbibe in milk over alcohol.
You threw me for a loop with that one. And I can't believe y'all went with owlbear milk.
With a mouse.
With a mouse chaser, yes.
Yeah, our orc killed a mouse, and then our plasmid, me, ate it.
Well, dipping it in milk, and you gave it to not your commanding officer, the orc's commanding officer.
Well, he asked for it.
Because I rolled low and he didn't realize there was a mouse in it.
Mouse.
I was not expecting you to do that. To just outright say that there's a mouse in there. But that was fun. I have to say, it is a different energy when doing it in person versus virtual.
Mm-hmm.
Even though handwriting is a lot slower, I feel, than typing.
Oh man, I am struggling taking real notes. My handwriting was never great, and 15 years of pretty much exclusively typing has destroyed my speed and legibility.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
Yeah. It's like not only is it chicken scratch, it's chicken scratch that takes me way too long to write.
Yep.
But it's fun. I like I don't know, I'm just trying to get into it, and it's like I like playing like I don't know. It feels cool, classic, old school. I've got my player's manual and my pen and paper.
That being said, I was so like, nervous doesn't have the right ring to it as much as it is like
terrified.
No, not terrified, just completely like scatterbrained for that beginning. I didn't even grab.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah. Glad it worked out. And I had enough you also had enough figurines for me to work with at that moment.
Yeah, for sure.
All these wolves, don't worry that it's technically a cheetah, a lion, and a some other big cats.
Yeah, for some of our miniatures I bought like off Amazon, like it's just like a bunch of little like toy, like yeah, like not miniatures, like dentist toy packs. Yeah. So they're all like super bright Technicolor, like it's like a bright orange cow, and that's yeah. But hey, they were cheap, so can't beat that.
And it's easy enough to point at a leopard, a cheetah, and a lion and say, yes, these are wolves. Don't worry about it.
It does make it easy to say like which one's which.
Actually, that is true.
Attack the giraffe wolf.
Yeah.
I play around with it. I haven't ever bought anything from them, but I like to like I've used it to like make paint schemes.
Actually, I made Zaldin on that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like $7, right?
Oh.
I'm not sure if Foundry does something like that or not. I would imagine if anyone did, it would be for Foundry.
It's
think they both do. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Ooh. Well, that still was really cool. I like that. And as far as like I said, yeah, I was there. No, you're good. Yeah, it's all good. But no, to kind of piggyback off what you were saying there, I understand the whole thing for trying to match aesthetics, especially with this new game that I'm DMing. It's so hard to like. So one of the characters that I just ran into that they mentioned there called Grace Lynn. I first tried to look her up online. There's no like photos or anything that someone else has made. So I figured like, okay, whatever. I'll just make a random character in one of those, or I'll just find a random like art piece and say, yeah, that's her. Then I read the fact that she specifically has a rainbow scarf, and I try to make any like characters that isn't specifically human, just make them non-human, just kind of more fun that way. So I'm afterwards going, well, shoot, I'm gonna just have to make my own like little art asset of a character with a rainbow scarf. I like how she, but oh yeah, that's actually most of the art that I'll end up sharing from time to time, like what's in the chat now, latest one. Yeah, that's Old Clip Studio, and actually, Yeah, I paid for it up front just because, well, Drawfee got me into it. So like, oh yeah, no worries. And I mean, okay, I'm not exactly I do art as an amateur for fun, but I don't know, I kind of like how they would turn out. And at least with Clip Studio, it's a lot easier to fix mistakes, I feel. Especially when you do the layering system that they got going. Now, admittedly, like the one that you're looking at took a few days, well, in between work and the like. But
just don't put too much work on yourself as a DM. Like,
yeah,
I mean, you can find a piece of artwork and then be like, oh, by the way, she also has a rainbow scarf that's just not in the picture because all I did was Google this. But I mean, if it's
That's an
fun,
idea.
then that's fine.
It is one of those weird zones of being both for me. I'm not gonna lie. I like doodling and art and like. I'm not gonna lie and say that it's easy and fast for me to do. But it is that weird special like in between zone for me.
Yeah.
Where I could easily just look up another picture.
But it's like the same thing for battle maps. Like, if you find one that you like, but it has certain elements that are like, well, that's not actually supposed to be in the scene. You just be like, that's not part of the scene. That's just part of the map that was drawn. So just ignore that bit.
That is the one thing I'm so glad about other people doing for me right now because.
If you ever need them, wait, that doesn't work. I'm in
What?
your campaign. But I was gonna say, if you need maps, I love making maps.
Thank you, Scout. But that's actually the thing I was about to say. I'm doing Baldur's Gate, so there's already a lot
doing
of
Descent
other
into
people.
Avernus?
Yep.
Hell oh.
I've been in several campaigns for that, and they've all
Oh
fallen
no!
apart. Only one of them actually made it to Avernus.
Oh no! Not even.
Wow,
And-
didn't even get through the city.
I know.
You didn't even get to the first title and the name of that
Yep.
module.
Nope.
You didn't even do the descent.
Oh shoot.
See, we got to this one place. It had. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. I can't say anything because this might be a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already know too much, to be honest.
Yeah, because this is like the game that we played together when we were kids. Not.
Not this, but well, not even that, because there's not too much that like matters. But like, I know some of the like bigger plot points. Just a couple, but still more than I'd like to know. It's probably insignificant overall, though. But yeah, we play Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance like crazy.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Here, one moment. I just need to plug in my computer.
Yeah, go for it.
Apparently, the thing needs energy or something.
My laptop at this point, if it's unplugged for more than a couple seconds, if it's unplugged for more than 1 minute and no programs are running, it's gonna turn itself off. If it's unplugged for more than like 5 seconds and a couple of programs are running, it turns off immediately. And it takes like 10 minutes to turn back on. It is from 2017, which is like 90 in computer years at this point, but but yeah, while I'm stuffing my face, I am going to have Chris Perkins. Let's see. Add this up a little bit. Right click, open tab, new file, pause real quick. Add. The window capture. Add a new source instead.
Hello? 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 Okay, there we go. Yeah, literally right as you were talking about how your computer would just die if it wasn't plugged in for 5 seconds, it died. Yeah. Oh, and that being said, the one thing that I'm debating whether or not to try to record our in-person ones just so that I can have my own you know, the DM notes writing itself kind of thing. I will say this. It's nice to be in person and not have to worry about things like copyright.
Mm-hmm.
I can just start blasting Ezio's family theme whenever I want, or what did I use? Mission Impossible? Yeah, I used Mission Impossible for one of the stealth scenes.
Well, the thing is, I do get copyright strikes every once in a while. I feel like most of the stuff I use, it's just like obscure and underground enough that like there's not a record label or a third party like CD Baby that's just like automatically like flagging their stuff as like copywritten material. Or I'll use a lot of stuff from things like White Bat Audio, which is royalty free. But yeah, when I feel like I made really, really effective use of Goblin Suspiria off the soundtrack by the same name during your first dream sequence. And I feel like at least a few of y'all recognized and appreciated my inclusion of that. But yeah, that definitely got me a copyright strike for using it. And I feel like there's a number of other things where it's like, this is good. And I think it's just like obscure enough that it kind of only really exists on Bandcamp. And there's probably not going to be anything that like flags it. And then I'll wind up getting flagged as like a copyright. So it's like, I do try to be a little bit careful about stuff like that. But since this channel is what it is, it has like 3 subscribers and like 8 views per video on average and is nowhere close to like monetizable. Like me getting the copyright strike just prevents me from being able to make any money off of that video. But it was not possible for me to make any money off of any of those videos to begin with, so it doesn't really matter. And B, it seems like at least so far it doesn't it's not like counting as like strikes against my account or whatever. It's not like putting me at risk for like getting my videos deleted or like blocked or unlisted or hidden or whatever. And yeah, like I never thought that that channel was a thing that would like be monetizable, so I was never like super concerned about it. But because YouTube always warns me that like, hey, this has got a copyright strike, like, and just the anxiety I get about that, I do try to avoid it as much as possible. And then sometimes I'm just fucking surprised by like, how does this one song off of an unreleased album from a band in San Diego that I only know about because they used to be like my roommates before they started this band, and I was like fans of previous bands they were in before or whatever. But like I used the song as like just something to put in like the break section when we're gone for 15 minutes, just so there's music in the background going. And then it's like, oh, I got a copyright strike from that. Well, like I know those people in person, so I maybe should have asked their permission, and I feel like they would have been cool with that. But I feel like, this album doesn't even exist yet. How am I getting a copyright strike off this like anarchist band from San Diego that like doesn't have a CD out yet? Like, so yeah, sometimes I'm surprised by, most of the time just like something being kind of obscure or pretty new or like whatever, like no record label, like you could get away with using it even though you don't own the rights to use it and it's not royalty free. Sometimes I'm surprised by the things that do get flagged. I'm like, huh. But yeah, while I finish these last couple slices of pizza, so I did want to say, the Tome of Strahd, as it is written in the book, it's kind of not much. It's actually just only 2 pages. And it was like fucking 2 years ago over that we started, and I had looked into like better variants or like additions or rewrites or like reworkings of this item. And I was trying to have that specifically prepared for y'all. But I don't. But I will give y'all the hold on, let me find the correct place to do this. And then while I finish my dinners, I'll let Chris Perkins be the daddy that reads this to us.
Oh. And right before I can get the this one stopped me, I can't read. I mean, ready to go.
Control C, delete, Control V, enter. Okay. Get it from there. Come on. Okay. Control C, Control V, enter. Okay. And then get it from there. Control
Also, the
C.
Suspiria theme song by Goblin.
V.
In
Enter.
my video game cover band, I throw that riff in like super slow and heavy stoner fuzzed out into a cookie song.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's what you mean by heavy and stonery, but
Yeah, it like super bent octaves, real low.
Oh, shoot. How does there you go.
Yeah, we try to throw in a bunch of stupid things whenever we play songs.
It's for the better.
It's for our own entertainment.
I mean, how many like themes did you throw into the Undertale theme? That it's actually technically supposed to be Bone Trestle to
It's Bone
Fire
Trestle
Dance.
and then Spider Dance, but there's the interlude that has about the songs in there in like 10 seconds. Each song that's in a different scale, dropping it down so it goes down to the scale that Spider Dance is in.
Yeah, because I think the studio version doesn't have it, but I think I remember a live version still having Megalovania in there for a second in one of the interludes.
It's not in the studio?
Not as far as I can recall.
Huh. Maybe we gotta edit it later.
Maybe.
I don't even remember that. Cool though.
Yeah. Anyways, that's
cool that we do that. I don't even remember.
Don't even remember a song that you made or were a part of, but you know what I mean.
I don't write it. I don't orchestrate any of the songs except for the only one I've orchestrated so far was Valedictory Elegy from Baten Kaido's Origins. Which, if you've heard any other soundtrack written by Sakuraba, like Star Ocean,
Yeah.
Golden Sun, yeah, you would go, oh
Yeah.
wait, that's the same song, and it's like,
Yeah.
he only knows how to write one song, and it's an awesome song.
Well,
Like
okay, I'm glad that I've already heard
Hans
that.
Zimmer and Skyrim and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep. Well, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean literally has. Well, okay, it's hard to say that it only has one theme, but
He did write Dark Souls too, but
oh, did he? Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah. Well, I
Wait,
think
Dark Souls 2 or just Dark? Or do you mean Dark Souls also?
Sorry, what?
When you say that, do you mean Dark Souls 2 or do you mean just Dark Souls also?
I'm not sure of the specifics.
Okay.
TOO or TWO is the question.
Yeah. I don't think she knows, or do
I
you
don't
know?
know what that means. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like different editions. Yes, I am a copywriter. I don't even remember what I said. 2, also.
Okay.
Yes. 2 is an also.
Gotcha.
It is
All right,
also in the second game.
There you go.
Let's let Daddy Chris Perkins read us from the Tome of Strahd.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I am the ancient, I am the land. My beginnings are lost in the darkness of the past. I was a warrior. I was good and just. I thundered across the land like the wraith of an angry god. But the war years and the killing years wore down my soul, as the wind wears stone into sand. All goodness slipped from my life. I found my youth and strength gone, and all I had left was death. My army settled in the valley of Barovia, and took power over the people in the name of a just God, but with none of a God's grace or justice. I called for my family, long unseated from their ancient thrones, and brought them here to settle in this castle, Ravenloft. They came with a younger brother of mine, Sergei. He was handsome and youthful. I hated him for both. From the families of the valley, one spirit shone above all others, a rare beauty, who was called Perfection, Joy, and Treasure. Her name was Tatiana, and I longed for her to be mine. I loved her with all my heart. I loved her for her youth. I loved her for her joy. But she spurned me. Old One was her name. To me, elder and brother also. Her heart went to Sergei, and they were betrothed. The date was set. With words, she called me brother, but when I looked into her eyes, they reflected another name, death. It was the death of the aged that she saw in me. She loved her youth and enjoyed it, but I had squandered mine. The death she saw in me turned her from me, and so I came to hate death. My death. My hate is very strong. I would not be called death so soon, so I made a pact with death, a pact of blood. On the day of the wedding, I killed Sergei, my brother. My pact was sealed with his blood. I found Tatiana weeping in the garden east of the chapel. She fled from me. She would not let me explain, and a great anger swelled within me. She had to understand the pact I made for her. I pursued her. Finally, in despair, she flung herself from the walls of Ravenloft, and I watched everything I ever wanted fall from my grasp forever.
I don't know what
It was
just happened to me.
through the mists. No trace of her was ever found. Not even
Yeah.
I know her final fate. Arrows
Yeah, we
from
can
the
hear you.
castle guards pierced me
Okay.
to my soul, but I did not die, nor did I live. I became undead forever.
My whole Discord
I
just
have
rebooted
studied
on me
much
for some
since
reason.
then.
Oh.
Vampire is my new name.
Wait, do
I
you not
still
hear the
lust
video
for
going?
life and youth, and I curse the living that took them from me. Even the sun is against me. It is the sun and its light I fear the most, but little else can harm me now. Even a stake through my heart does not kill me, though it holds me from movement. But the sword, that cursed sword that Sergei brought, I must dispose of that awful tool. I fear and hate it as much as the sun. I have often hunted for Tatiana. I have even felt her within my grasp, but she escapes. She taunts me. She taunts me. What will it take to bend her love to me? I now reside far below Ravenloft. I live among the dead and sleep beneath the very stones of this hollow castle of despair. I shall seal shut the walls of the stairs, that none may disturb me.
I can't believe Strahd is just a nice guy.
Nah. Yeah.
He is Granddaddy Incel, that's for sure.
Chad Sergey.
I mean, yeah. You can't say I'm surprised. No, you say it like that. But what were you trying to say there, Brooke? Couldn't hear you over the video.
I said he is the granddaddy of incels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Strahd, supreme gentleman.
Photoshop him with a fedora.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Just give him a trilby.
Milady
That was the
Tatiana.
Tome of Strahd as read by Daddy Chris Perkins. Thanks for the
Interesting.
bedtime story, Daddy.
That does. And don't think I didn't pay attention to the part about the steak.
Yeah, I've seen the same thing. Also, wait, who of us?
I'll get to sharpening my immovable rod.
And who of us had the actual tome itself, or was it just given to us?
I have it.
Oh, okay.
I got it at the same time as I looted the money.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because if it was just given to us, I do like the idea of the scene of them accidentally giving it to Jutari and just having her like stare blankly at it for a while, like trying to read it. Like by the time that everyone else is done, she finally gets to, "I am the land." Like whatever the first lines are.
Land I am.
Is this not Dr. Seuss? I'll try to hit him with a stake. I'll try to hit him with a rake.
So yeah, that is what the Tome of Strahd is, as it appears in the module as the item of power as it exists. It's kind of just 2 pages of info dump and backstory. There are some in-game implications for something that changes for y'all now that you do possess this item. That is not necessarily a good thing. But yeah, there was, God, this was more than 2 years ago. I had found a different variation that had a little bit more to it, and also included a little bit of the lore from previous editions that I had re-added to the campaign that are not in the 5th edition version, such as the Fanes of Barovia quest and a couple other things. That Esmeralda is kind of handling that, so in game you don't really have to think or worry about it. But narratively, I haven't removed it. It's just like that's kind of Esmeralda's MO for the time being until she gets that third one. And I imagine like during the campfire as you're winding down before a long rest, she would probably give you some extra information, probably out of other pages than just these two. She'll probably say something along the lines like, I don't even know what it means when I say this, but the module only wants you to have these 2 pages, so here you go, and rips them out and gives them to you, and then might read a couple other things as like info dump exposition. I'll probably have to think of what those things are specifically at the time of our next game. But yeah, there was a different one I found that had like more in-depth stuff to it, and also more interactivity / like puzzle solving element to it that I thought y'all would enjoy, but I can't fucking find it anymore. Yeah, I found it like over 2 years ago, and I've like deleted and moved files on my laptop and have gotten a PC since then, so I don't even know where that is, or if I tried to find it online again, where I would find it. So maybe I'll have that ready by next month when we have, or the 17th when we have our next game session.
Yeah.
But if not, those 2 pages are kind of what the book gives you.
Jotaro just immediately will just turn back to Eddie after his last ability to unlock the puzzle.
Diaries of an Incel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your first 2 items, your first item of power is Memoirs of an Incel.
Yeah.
The next book is going to begin the Industrial Revolution, and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
I don't know the reference on that, but
The Unabomber.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Strahd is definitely, I don't know, it's cool. Cool to see more about him.
Yeah.
It gives me more of a, I want to know the man I want to kill.
That's fair.
So that's the Tome of Strahd. That was one of the big notes here. I was gonna flesh out the scene with Esmeralda and Muriel at the Standing Stones, but I think that's best left for the beginning of our next game session. And then talked about the bit with the Dragon Skull. We did not wind up on doesthedie.com. I mentioned that y'all needed to try to force more conversation out of Jock to get a little more information on this specific thing of a character that's been eluding you. And the last thing that is on here that I think we've only kind of touched on is that y'all leveled up to 6, and if you want to talk about new exciting stuff you got or whatever, you're welcome to do so. But I do want to say I'm not sure if the next episode is going to open before your long rest or if it's going to open after your long rest, but I'll say at the time you wake up after your long rest will be when the level up kind of triggers. And about that specifically, you're taking your long rest in one of these 3 sacred sites in the Valley of Barovia inside this ring of standing stones. A, you're doing it there, and B, it was just freshly reconsecrated as a fane, and your player characters don't really know much about what that means per se, but nevertheless, you're inside of this kind of like aura area of a place that has been kind of restored to its like natural and healthy order. And Esmeralda might tell you more about that if asked, but one of the benefits you get for that being the time and location where you spend a long rest during a level up. A and B both related to when you're adding hit points for leveling up from level 5 to level 6. Whatever your hit dice is, you got the maximum roll possible on that hit dice.
Nice.
And whatever your constitution score is, before you add your what you would add from your constitution modifier, add to your constitution score. So add 2 to your, or add 1 to your constitution modifier. So maximum roll on your dice plus what you would add from your constitution, and pretend your constitution allows you to add 1 more than it would have.
So,
Plus so if you have like a D10 in your hit dice and your constitution modifier is +3, you would get 14, because assumed 10 and then the 3 from your constitution, and then pretending your constitution modifier is 1 higher than it actually is.
Cool. Thank you.
So everyone's new hit points should be 1 more than the maximum it could have possibly been.
Oh. So let's see. I had added the 5, and it should instead be. So I had added 6, and it should have been 9. Nice. Going from 6 to 9, always nice.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. So the hit point increase in this level up should be a little bit better than any of your other ones, including the first 3, where I think I also made the assumption that those were maximum rolls. But in addition to maximum roll, pretending your constitution modifier is 1 more than it actually is.
Should I max my first 3 HP rolls or not? Same thing, I guess, with Jatari.
You should not, because those were
got it.
Those were Ednani Adventure Academy adventures specific.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. Hit points at 52. Nice. Very nice.
So that should help y'all from having to corpse tank during most of your fights that aren't steamrolls.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay.
And just
corpse tanking is fun.
Lore wise, just the time and location that you spent this long rest coinciding with you leveling up, just like the reconsecrated aura of this now restored Fane of Barovia has given you this benefit. If I remember, I'll probably put a note in out of game chat to let Rick know to do that on Jack's character sheet too.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'm
But I
rocking
think that was like
73.
the last
Oh, nice.
like note I had here that was for discussion, that's not including a couple of things that I wanted to have prepared and ready, but I wasn't able to do so. So yeah, I still got a slice of pizza left. If y'all have any questions about campaign, what's happened so far, or want to discuss like what y'all are doing next, or just want to ask me candid questions that are not necessarily in character that you're curious about, and I'll decide if that's a thing that's appropriate for me to answer. I don't want to keep anybody too much longer, but I'm down to hang out for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Same.
If it comes up, we'll come back, I guess. Or if I can think of something, we'll get back to you on it.
I mean, I already ran my spell selection by you. And months ago, I ran the change to traits and ideals, and not just having the mirror flip me to evil, but also, given the circumstances we're in, I also switched from neutral to chaotic.
Ooh.
So I went from neutral good to chaotic evil.
Oh, right. And actually, I have other spells that I can prepare as well. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't think of much else to talk about on character development type stuff.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's a specific example of this. Otherwise, I would just bring it up. But I feel like there's plenty of examples of y'all could ask, hey, so what the fuck is up with that? And it's for whatever reason, whatever is the fuck up with that, like I could more or less answer directly or in a roundabout way without it being like spoiler, or I could just say like we'll get to that. But that's what I meant by like a peek behind the DM screen. If there's any like questions or curiosities y'all have about the campaign that I might be able to answer in a non ruiny way, I could do my best.
Yeah, no, the only things that are coming to mind are stuff that we kind of already mentioned, because I'm sure that at least Yutari, okay, I'm probably not going to mean to drive conversations the way that, things are coming up, but if they come up naturally, she'll be good with that as well. But like finding out, hey, what's been going on with Esmeralda, and then probably just ask, hey, so what was going on with all of the ravens on your end that we were able to let go with what's her name? That should still be by the Standing Stones when we meet her again.
Muriel is there. She
Muriel,
did not
yeah.
join you at the battlefield, but you did release the ravens, the swarms of ravens that Baba Lysaga had trapped in her hut. But I think 3 out of 4 of those swarms sacrificed themselves to not make Manu go down when he was the last party member up.
Oh yeah, no, I think more to what I was going to say there was, she was going to at the very least tell Marion what happened to the ravens, because assumably they were at least like family of some sort. Family, friends, acquaintances, bitter rivals, who knows. Like at the very least tell her like, hey, what went down there. Just kind of giving closure to what happened.
Yeah, whatever the actual case may be, birds of a feather regardless.
Yeah. Because
I
there
don't
was
know.
actually...
I don't know if I've not stated explicitly enough, but like a lot of the ravens are just ravens. They're not people who are were-ravens. So there's gonna be plenty of times you like run into flocks of ravens, and they're not, you know, keepers of the feather that are on patrol. They're just burbs.
Yeah.
Oh no.
There's not that many actual like were-ravens at all, right?
Like I wouldn't say there's like a lot. There's probably a comparable amount of them as the amount of werewolves that are in the valley. Y'all haven't really fucked with werewolves much at all.
Yeah, that's okay though.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually, are there werewolves? don't think Chitari's at least run into any.
Yeah, when we went to what's the name of the town where the abbey is? They've been dealing with werewolf attack issues.
That was like one of
that.
the first, like our first adventures in Barovia was werewolf attack.
That was wolf attack.
Yeah, no, that was just a dire wolf. That wasn't even a werewolf.
Yeah, you're right.
They're like normal wolves.
I think
dire.
Jack may have mentioned werewolves, but we didn't go looking for them or anything.
Werewolves were part of Jack's character's like story hook into Barovia, but after finding himself there, he he ran into one right away, but didn't realize it was a werewolf, and then they kind of parted ways, and that didn't turn into a confrontation. And then something happened that if he was to talk to with y'all about, y'all would put a couple pieces together and be like, and then he was living in the village of Barovia, and kind of his whole quest was to like find the werewolves and fuck them up, but like he realized he was stuck, like trapped, like cut off from the home plane that sent him on this mission to begin with. And it was like kind of just, well, I'm gonna try to survive, so I've got this house that I could stay in for now, and I'll pick up like some short, you know, adventuring opportunities to get me a little bit of coin to scrape by, which is how he wound up rescuing Arabelle and then winding up inside of Argon Vostholtz while y'all were there. But yeah, werewolves are a thing that Jacques specifically is like on his agenda to get rid of, but he's been in Barovia for months longer than y'all have, and has not done much towards that or anything towards that. It's mostly been like keeping a low profile, staying mostly in this house that he's found himself able to live in rent-free, and taking some side adventuring gigs that are, you know, low risk and also low reward, and kind of bouncing back between Barovia and Vallaki mainly.
And as a side note to that, now that you mentioned the whole thing of not every raven is actually a were-raven, part of me is debating whether or not to just put that into her character of like, she's seen so many people turn into ravens now. I'm wondering if she catched on that. No, there are still literal ravens here. No, that's not just a person. That's just a normal bird, Dratari. That's just a normal burb.
I would say most of them are just ravens.
I know, but now that we've had so many were-raven incidences, I'm debating whether or not just have her have that moment or not.
But not that I mean, in real life, Earth corvids are very intelligent birds, but I feel like these ones in specific are smarter than your average raven, and I think it was Muriel herself who was at the windmill and was trying to like warn y'all away. It wasn't just like a regular raven, but yeah, I think there's been other times where like ravens have been giving you nonverbal communication in a helpful way, and it's not like a were raven just in their raven form. That's just a very smart and helpful bird because they're kind of aligned with the keepers of the feathers just from being, you know, we're ravens and you're were ravens. They're kind of like allies, but yeah. They're most of them are just birds. Not most of them don't turn into humans or human bird hybrids.
Just have a random bird just like fly down next to them. Muriel, is that you? Burp.
Muriel is also kind of distinct. You could kind of tell her apart even in raven form because her feathers kind of have a blue tip. I know I've mentioned that a couple times, but between our episodes being a month apart and a lot going on during them, I wouldn't blame y'all if either nobody remembers or nobody caught on to that in the first place. But yeah, like you see a raven flying around that has like blue tips on their feathers, kind of like 2006 black hair, but your bangs are dyed blue, kind of emo look.
Yeah.
That if you see a raven that looks like that you do know that's Muriel Vinshaw.
Cool.
It kind of has a distinguishing mark. But I don't know if there was more to that point, but yeah.
You know, while we've been chatting, I have been going through the spell list since we do have, you know, extra spell now. How is Find Steed? Since, you know, obviously, like, since at that point it feels like it. Well, I guess for the battlefield it could be super useful then, right?
Well, at the same time, it's because Paladin, unlike Ranger or Bard or many others, you don't have to pick your spells known. You pick your spells prepped that day.
Mm-hmm.
You can just summon it today and then tomorrow prep a different spell.
Okay. Good point.
And yeah, the biggest problem with ye old warhorse. Okay. The good news is the horse can take dash or disengage and carry you with it, so it changes your mobility on the battlefield to a ridiculous degree. On the other hand, it has an AC of like 12 and 19 hit points.
Gotcha.
So AoEs are going to be, the exception being is if you actually cast Warding Bond on it, so that it has resistance to all damage, but you take as much damage as you prevented. So that does effectively double those 19 HP. And if you have other ways of sharing temp HP or whatever else with it, you can boost it by a lot. But without all of those tips and tricks and little hacks to make it withstand the battlefield better, massively increased mobility, tiny HP on it.
Itty bitty
bit of living space. We both made the joke at the exact same time.
Yep.
And that's actually the reference I was going for. So yay!
It worked.
On the flip side, though, horse.
Yeah. If you don't take it into battle,
Shiny
and it's just
horse.
and it's just left behind, then you get a horse.
Mhm.
And a horse is a horse.
Of course.
Well, it's a celestial horse, or fae, or forget the other one, but
But can I have a frog though? Actually, make that
mega good
joke.
question.
That being said, even if that was a joke response, part of me is like, she's not exactly on the best of terms with her own religion anymore, so I don't even know if she would want a frog horse
A
anyways.
frog question mark.
Frog question. Yeah, exactly. A frog horse. It's a force to be reckoned with.
It's a force to be ribbit with.
There you go. I can't even imagine how the hell you would combine those two. Like, how do you make a Okay. Time to put that into Google and be very terrified, probably. What?
Right?
Huh. It just went into the anatomy of a horseshoe, apparently. I guess they are trying to say, like, a horseshoe, when you put it on, is supposed to have the same look as a frog does. Yeah, I was not expecting a
I'm not
horseshoe.
sure I understand that.
No.
I'll put it to the chat.
I don't think we have anything else official to talk about, unless there's anything anybody wants to mention. I should probably do this in a message rather than talk about it, but just like July, I've got my disability hearing coming up and a couple other kind of stressful things. And then like August or September is when we're trying to move, or at least no later than November. I am trying to get as many games under our belt before I have to take kind of probably a 2 or 3 month long hiatus while we get resettled, moving from Olympia to Portland. Our next game is slotted for the 17th. I think we were all also stated availability for the weekend after that. I don't necessarily want to run 2 back-to-back weekends, but we could check back in about that, because yeah, I do want to get as many under my belt before I have to take, at least a month or 3 hiatus while we get resettled. And yeah, again, disability, or July, I've got my disability case coming up and a couple things. I think I still can, like, not be stretched too thin to still be able to run 1 session in July, whatever date we figure out for that. And I could probably still do 1 in August, but unless we wait all in the way until November to move, we're probably going to be trying to move, September, October in there. So probably around there is when I'm going to have to take a couple months off. And I do want to try to get as many in the books before then.
Okay.
So yeah, look, I think 17th of June is when we have the next one on the books. July is looking like really shitty for me, but I'm pretty sure I could at least run 1 in July. And we'll probably still be not ready to like move yet by August, so probably could run 1 or 2 in August. And maybe we won't move until like November, so we might have September, October, but September, October might also be the time if we wind up breaking our lease and moving early. So some things are still up in the air. most of that y'all don't need to know or have to care about. Just kind of trying to be transparent about where I'm at. And yeah, I don't want to go too into the details of my physical and mental health and kind of where I'm at. But I've been having some difficulties with things, and I feel like running this game has been more stressful for me than it should be, but it's also one of the few feel like beneficial, regular, social. Like, I like y'all as players. I like this as a game group. This is important to me. I don't think like running a game for this group, I don't think even necessarily running this specific campaign are things that are burning me out, but I am struggling with, successive like years and years of every single day. I'm just doing everything I can to be like 1.5 steps ahead of, a massive burnout. And yeah, I think there's been a couple times where I've been like snippy to y'all and you didn't deserve it, or like a couple, like basically every single game where it's like I'm so spacey, I'm not giving one or more of my players as much attention as they deserve, and obviously, like, it's very known, I'm very forgetful on a bunch of things. I like literally said how much money Tegan found, and then like she asked me to repeat, and I was like, I don't fucking know what I just said. So yeah, I've been rambling for a second. I don't know what the point exactly was, but yeah, I don't want y'all to feel like well, I especially don't want anybody to feel like I'm in such a bad place that they have to like worry about my well-being or anything. I'm doing all right, but with a big ass asterisk at the end of the word all right. And yeah, also like I don't want y'all to feel responsible or guilty, or I don't know what the correct word is, like about the amount of like, I probably make it way more clear than it needs to be, the amount of stress and like work and effort I put into like running this game. And I like doing that. Again, I feel like this kind of monthly group is one of I feel like more beneficial to me than the weekly group therapy I was in. And I feel like I do a pretty good job at not treating y'all like a group therapy. I don't, at least I hope I don't overshare too much. But
you're good.
yeah, I appreciate y'all. Most of y'all have stuck with like Steven and Brooke have been with this game for more than, or Steven, Brooke, and Scout have been with this game for more than 2 years, and I think the other Steven is now getting close to 2 years too.
Has it been 2 years? Wow.
It's over 1 for sure.
Oh,
I don't
definitely.
remember exactly when, but yeah, and I just like, obviously an anxiety is like, if I have to take 1 to 3 months off, like, am I gonna come back and like more than half of my players just like don't exist in the server or whatever anymore. But
well,
yeah, I appreciate y'all coming with me so far and putting up with the sloppier and sloggier aspects of how I've ran the game.
No, you're fine, honestly. I haven't really noticed any like sloppy or slunky or whatever the word that you just used to us, to be honest. And I mentioned it earlier, but if you wanted us to try to run something like that, I don't know how familiar anyone else is with the game, but it's called You've Awakened in a Strange Place while you're on your 3 month break. That way, it gives you a little bit more time to recharge as well.
I also don't know if I can commit to being a player to anything either at the moment.
Okay.
I am somewhat familiar with the concept, even if I've
Yeah.
never played one of those games. But yeah, and I'm also interested in trying new systems. Like I'm vaguely interested in Call of Cthulhu and Kids on Bikes and some of the offshoots of that, which I think Kids on Bikes are also
Wow.
powered by the Apocalypse, which is the one that Brooke kind of likes. But yeah, I also wanted to, I don't think anybody saw really because you can't see much lower down. I feel like Brooke will appreciate the new shirt
Eldritch Blast.
Nice.
in that Black Sabbath font.
Oh yeah,
Warlocks don't get that many.
Well, if they use
a short rest.
if they use the illusionist gloves out of the Ravnica book and they cast it with both their action and bonus action, or if they just have Metamagic Adept or Levels and Sorcerer to have Quicken, they can have way more than that, actually. Depending on what level. Don't well actually, the well actually.
As a side note, my god, that cursed image that I just found for a horse frog.
Yeah, that is cursed.
But yeah, unless anybody has any other announcements or things to say or ask or talk about, I'm gonna end the recording. Y'all are welcome to hang out. I'm probably gonna go outside and do a smoke and maybe jump back on chat if anybody's still around. But yeah, last chance before I end the recording to anybody else has anybody else to add to our intermission?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I just had a quick question on, especially since with no one else being on a horse or anything like that, would it be good to have that kind of spell, or would it be better to try to go with something else kind of deal?
I feel like it's shitty. This is just my opinion. You'd have to talk to your other party members because it doesn't matter as much to me. But I feel like it's shitty to like have a sort of like movement benefit that you give yourself, but like everybody else is like you could still only, if you're moving as a group, you could still only move as fast as your slowest party member.
I think
that's
especially with aura,
though.
I think the strongest part of Find Steed is not in its mechanical abilities, but in its role-playing, coolness, and fun abilities.
Yeah.
Which can never be forgotten in D&D. Sometimes.
And A, you have a horse. That's cool.
Sure.
And B, it gives us an excuse for who's dragging the skull.
Oh, that's
good too.
And
boom, lawyered.
Boom.
I should have enough time.
Useful.
I'll have to confirm with Agatha before I could say anything. But part of me
is so happy about that.
The most cursed fucking horse frog combo that I can find for this thing. I'll just blame this on Barovia or something like that. But part of me would like to somehow find the essence of the what the fuckery that is a horse frog.
Oh no, I found it.
Oh no!
No, how about this?
Oh no.
So
what?
Look at it, and then look at it sideways.
Where is it?
Look at it sideways?
Where is it? Is it in one of the chat?
It's in the chat, but I'm not seeing it.
Look at it.
Tilt your head to the right. And incorporate the lily pad.
Yeah.
Oh my god! That took me. Okay, I tilted my head the wrong way.
Oh,
that's
wow. Great. It's kind of like one of those like pretty woman right side up, ugly woman upside down type of things. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh my god! Now that's an idea.
It could be a horse that everyone else sees it as a horse. You see it as a
I
frog.
see it as a frog. That's what exactly I was thinking of. Oh my god, that's an idea. If I get the
It's like-
little.
Oh yeah, just put it in my frog's saddlebags. They go out to the stable. The frog?
Chitari, do you know what a frog is, right? Do you know what a horse is? Yes, this is my frog. Pats the obvious horse. But in that case, like, does Chitari see this as a giant frog then, or is this a frog in the like size of a horse to her, or not? Oh god, the logistics of this is a bit of a nightmare, but I kind of love the insanity that is brewing from that. Oh god.